Hi, this is Kevon Tyrree, and we are welcoming to the show the lovely and beautiful, of course, the introduce herself, Miss Rita Lim. Welcome to the show, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend in his own right. Of course, her better half, or his better half, depending on what you want to say. The lovely David Siegel. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Hi, Kevon. How are you?
We are doing
You looking
great.
great yourself?
Well, you know, I'm trying to be snazzy, baby.
I
You know
love
how
that
it goes.
suit. Nice.
Right. So, how have you guys been? You guys doing all right?
We're good. Thank you. Thanks for having us, and we're excited to be here.
Thank you very
You're a good
much.
friend, and we adore you.
Well, you know, it's friends always try to support other
That's
friends
right.
when they can. So, you know, we've definitely done a lot of stuff together. She definitely helped me in a lot of situations, and she was nice enough to return the favor. So, in town, you've been doing this for, I've been doing this for like almost 11 years. You've been doing it for like 9, 10 now?
I would say 10. Yeah,
Okay, so
about
like
the
you've been,
same time.
yeah. So I'm like a year more than you, but
Probably,
yeah.
yeah.
So in all the time that you've performed, what was the one thing that you dealt with that, in retrospect, you find is completely hilarious, or like that you like to talk about? That's like the most craziest thing.
That's hard. That's a hard question to start with.
Oh, girl, come on now.
I think I tripped on stage once.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
think it was at Suncoast or something. I tried to come out and just tripped a little bit.
Really?
You worked that room before.
Oh,
It's
yes.
dark. You know how it's dark before you come out. I had a long dress.
Well,
Yeah,
For
that's the
tho-
most hilarious thing I've ever done.
for those who've never seen Rita perform, she likes to do these long train
do.
fashion outfits. She wants to be, you know, the ingenue, right?
Try to looking cute. Oh,
Right.
no, I could tell a funny story. No, I was like, I had this long dress. This is very funny.
Okay.
Actually, beside that one, I was like, make fun of myself. I was performing at the El Cortez. So I was walking out, trying to be looking good, looking cool, but then I tripped, but the accident that the way I carried myself and I hold on to the wall, it looked like I'm trying to be sexy, and then I had to pretend and pose to stay that way. But the audience thought I was like trying to be sexy on
Right.
stage, but it's actually I support myself without tripping at the El Cortez.
Well, I'm sure that made a lot of old guys very happy. I'm sure that worked itself out, right?
It was
Right.
kind of funny.
Now, Dave, and for those who don't know, Dave in his own right is a great pianist, great piano, made a bunch of great beats, gave me a bunch of stuff on his phone that I got an email from. Right, I was just like, you made this on your phone, bro? Like, we could do a whole nother thing about that, but anyway. What is the one situation for you that you found in retrospect that you find a hilarious story that you kind of is, only way that could happen is because it's in the business that you deal with?
Wow, that's a great question, man. Something that is hilarious. I think a lot of times it depends on the people you're working with and how hilarious they are.
Okay.
And the interaction. Yeah, right off the top of my dome, I don't have a particular story, but I will say I am the kind of guy, I live for whatever new comedy is going to come my way, whether it's
Yeah.
on a gig. There's been gigs we've done together where we've had immense comedy.
Yes,
With some
and
of the-
and I was the straight man for that comedy, just to be clear. And he was just like, "Ba-da-ba-tss." Like, okay, fair enough. What has been the situation for the both of you working together? Because I know you guys have done multiple projects together. You know, I know you guys have a show coming up. You've done the Sade show that I was lovely enough to be a part of.
were a part of.
You know, I know you guys have your show every Sunday at the Tuscany that you guys do.
That's right.
Right. So, which is at what, 7:30?
7 o'clock to 10:30.
7 to 10:30
Sunday.
every Sunday at the Tuscany here in Las
Tuscany.
Vegas.
right.
So, out of all those times you worked together, what was the one thing that you guys kind of laughed about in retrospect? You know what I mean, over a situation.
I mean, I could volunteer some, that includes you. Right? One of the last shows we did,
Right.
three of us, and I won't get specific, but we were out in the middle of a golf course.
Yes, we were.
Like the stage was going to be somewhere, and then it said, "No, we're going to put you in the middle of the entire golf course," which
Yes.
was very beautiful, by the way.
It was stunning.
It was stunning, yeah. But I just remember us setting up the set. We were there all day, setting up in the sun and the outdoors,
Right.
and people kept driving past us with golf carts,
Right.
asking us what the hell we were doing. and so, you know, so now again, I don't want to blame people, but apparently this single wasn't really promoted
Right.
at the venue.
Right.
So I just thought it was hilarious that
It
we're
is
setting up
hilarious.
this whole thing. People are playing golf, driving by. What are you guys doing?
Right.
And I'm like, well, we're performing here. We have
The
to
venue
kinda
didn't
actually-
promote it. Yeah.
Well, that goes to a great point. So because we've been in the game as long as we have, and of course Mr. Siegel here, he's been in certain instances bigger venues and bigger situations than
Right.
both of us have
Yeah.
had. All of us have seen how things are promoted versus how they are here in Vegas, where they don't get promoted as much, or they don't put that time and effort in for people to come to the show. How do you guys, from your perspectives, individually and as a team, how do you deal with that, and how do you do your best to push it forward?
Well, my attitude is it is what it is, because since our music, especially the way it's more of a adult contemporary smooth jazz R&B. So our market is not like the mainstream what the main people, the mass wants to hear. It's just like a
Right.
small group of people who are listening to it right now. So I don't think there's a lot of budget into the productions where the buyers put their money into the promote, so they're relying on us. So what I do is I just basically suck it up and do it, and keep my clients, keep my fan base. And
Right.
I'm pretty lucky that I've been in my 10 years of performing here. I see my supporters as family. As I'm sure you do too. I think the key is people connect to the genuine of how you actually have the same quality, how we care about our supporters. So I
Yes.
stay in touch, and I stay in touch with all of my fans as friends. So whatever I do, they come out and support me.
Okay.
That's a full-time job for you.
It is a
I can
full-time
attest.
job.
She's being very kind of modest about that in terms of what you're saying. She's always promoting and getting back to everybody, and they got issues with getting tickets. Or
I remember seeing that evening, right? I remember seeing that afternoon, which was interesting to kind of just see, because
Well, the performance, as you know, it's more
Right.
of a relaxing time. The real
Yes.
time is when you stay in touch with your supporters. So that's a full time.
yes, everything leading up to the gig is full time, and then we could finally relax. We could just let
Yeah.
go and perform,
That's right.
and kind of be ourselves in that way. Because then you have to worry about building, setting it up, and then of course the tear down. Thanking, kissing. I like to call shaking hands and kissing babies. You do that a lot. She's shaking hands, kissing babies, and hopefully having not too much queer people taking pictures on her hips, talking about, ooh, and she's like, yes, hurry up, get out of here, get off me. That kind of thing.
Great question, my friend. You're amazing. Because I know that you have to, you experience it yourself when we do something as a local artist, we have to do a lot of
Yes.
promoting is
Promoting.
full-time. To me, the only time I get any rest is when we're doing the show.
Yeah.
That is correct. Even on our off times, you got to, still put yourself out there in some
Exactly.
capacity. So the music that we were going to present for what you made, when did you craft the music that you made for this, and what was the inspiration behind
For
it?
the show you're talking about?
No, for your original music.
Oh, for the original music. Actually, I had an album. This is how I was discovered, in Vegas through that album. And about 11 years ago, I released an album, but about 10 years ago, that was Take Notice. I had an album, which is about 8 songs, a cover of a lot of great standards in some 70s that was remade by my friend Joey Singer, who is a musical director for Debbie Reno. So there's a lot of arrangement to it. But the album has 2 original songs.
Okay.
The 2 original songs was actually not composed by me, but it's one of my dear friend. His name is Dave Williams, and he was inspired by the message in there's 2 songs I'm going to be doing on this show. The 2 of them, one of them is called Cry Anymore, and the other one's called By My Side. Cry Anymore is a song that was written actually specifically for me about how around that time I quit singing for many years to had family end up a divorce before I met Dave. So during that time I wasn't happy, 12 years ago. So the song is about I want to come back and perform just to sing and shine again. So that song is about that. That's an inspiration behind it.
Right.
The song By My Side is about if you're going through a tough time and you're thinking about your loved one and just to be strong. And that's what my friend basically wrote again, that both him and I, we were working in an industry where there's a lot of challenge. We were in the nightclub industry in town and stuff. And it wasn't easy. So that was the inspiration behind the 2 songs.
So the interesting thing about that is, because I know obviously after that, you know, you got with the old Sly Fox over here.
Yeah.
See, that kind of song was the pre-dedication to Dave,
that's
in a matter of speaking.
I'm waiting for him to write me a new song because Dave has Dave wrote many songs for a big artist like Celine Dion and like T.I. and Enrique Iglesias and many, you know, just to name a few. So I was like hoping, I'm like basically kiss my way to the top.
Oh, so that's what we're calling it now. Oh, how very PG of you. Okay. She's just like, I'm going to call it,
cute,
I said,
buddy.
I'm going to kiss my way to the top. Are you okay? Well,
I just want to give it a little
Ooh,
sense
au
of humor.
contraire. Okay, good.
No, I fell in love with his in musicianship.
Of course.
I think I told you the story, but I can brief and real fast before you talk. We, you know, besides being a world-class producer and musicians and so forth, you know, when he first moved to Vegas, he's like, he worked with local artists, and we met at the Tuscany, actually.
Right.
And then the rest is history. We collaborate, and Dave produced me so many headline shows that included the Sade, and we have a tribute to the Carpenters, and now he's working on some of my originals and stuff that we're planning to do and to put on a Smooth Jazz Radio. So thanks to him.
Well, that's
So
great.
We have some Carpenter shows coming up.
Yeah, we do actually. This actually, I don't know when this.
You better, baby. You better put them plugs up in there, man. Come on now.
I don't know when this show is going to be aired, but actually, speaking this particular week on March 21st and March 28th, and we're having a tribute to the music of the Carpenters at the Vegas Room, which is one of the hottest spots in Las Vegas right now. And so we're going to be doing that for the Sunday brunches. And for future endeavor, we don't know what's going to come, like, because with this is during the pandemic shutdown,
Yes.
so I only have Tuscany, but basically both you and me, we're all over in town in all the venues, all the top venues in town, and so are you, and that's how we met.
Yes, that is
And
correct.
you were kind enough to be my special guest on a lot of my Sade projects, and
Yes.
you did My Fan Loves You, and you have your own fan base as well.
I love the particular fan who got you that gig at the golf course, even though obviously I'm happily involved and she's happily involved. That was a very lovely, nice lady who's easy on the eyes. Just, you know, plug to that lady, by the way. Right?
Anything could happen.
Hey, you know, this guy.
And
here.
shout out to our producer, Ace Michael.
There you go, right? So,
Sweetheart.
what do you say for the musicians here or the people that have the preconception? Because we've done original music, you've done original music. This guy's worked with some of the best in the business, some of the biggest hits makers, you know, out there. Traveled the world, this guy, but that's again another story. How do you deal with the perception of people that feel like the people when they come to Vegas, they're basically just, they only can recycle music. They only can just do cover songs and do that kind of thing versus being actual entertainers and artists in many facets.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but Vegas is basically, as you and I know, the majority of the market is covered music. The original music is not as big in Vegas, but it's there, and I'm glad that Ace, Michael, and you are getting into to that market and trying to promote, you know, artists who have original music. But Vegas have one scene that it's already been happening for a while, which is the Composer Showcase that run by my friend Keith Thompson and
That's right.
the Smith Center.
That's
and,
correct. That is
so that's
correct.
the only scene that we have, and there's a lot of great artists that write music, including yourself, and I know that you're doing a lot of original music yourself. So I think in my opinion, I just feel we just have to do our best to maybe throw in a little here and there of original music in our gig. I do it sometimes, but shamelessly, I haven't performed these two original songs since I recorded it. So this is going to be my first time performing it live.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've been busy doing the tribute to different kind of music.
Yes.
Or even though me and Dave, when we do covered music at my usual, on my day-to-day basis, as you aware, we tend to put our own stamps to the cover that we do. Like I tend to take pride in whatever songs that I do. I don't like to make it sound like the record, even though when I do a tribute to Sade, or to the Carpenters, Dave helped me put a lot of their own stamps with love to the fusion jazz and all the war music. So we're doing our best to try to put that in.
Put your own personality in it, even
stamps
though
into
obviously
it.
you're being respectful to the music.
Right.
For someone like Dave, because you've made music for God knows how long, so when you come to this town and they kind of have just a hit-orientated thing versus something organic, even though I grew up here, I'm really from New York, so that nugget of originality is still there in me. So for someone like you that's dealt with a lot of cats, and this guy, his catalog of musicians he knows is top notch. How does it feel for you when you come to town and you make roots here and you kind of see the mindset that you have with a lot of the Vegas kind of mentality, I guess you say?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's been pretty frustrating. Man. I mean, I love this town, and I love this town for a lot of reasons. I think the scene has a long way to go, man. I mean, one of the things about the pandemic, let's say, and people coming here from LA and other areas, is that I'm hoping we're going to get some kind of a resurgence, or maybe we could kind of redefine the town and bring out different aspects of music and different music scenes, and I'm really hoping for that. I mean, honestly, I've been here off and on for 5 or 6 years, and I think due to the not being able to tour, this is the longest I've been in town for a stretch since the pandemic.
Right.
And I think it's frustrating. I think we all got to band together and find what venues we could find and put nights together and support each other. And to me, I don't think that's really even started yet up here, you know? So,
I think one way that kind of started going was the first time you guys did the Space, right? Now, obviously I've been with you there. I just did Monday's Dark. What was it, last month?
Right.
No,
you
which
met
was
a lot of my friends. Yeah.
right. Lovely situation. Jason Allen, nice guy. But those people didn't really believe that style of music was viable, or at the very least they didn't believe what you brought to the table and your fan base was viable until they were packing chairs into that thing because there weren't enough people in there.
I think the Sade show we did the first time of the show, I think that was a little bit of a breakthrough.
It was a breakthrough.
I don't want to be immodest or anything, but they haven't, the vibe of the band, the vibe of the music, the way it looked, the way it sounded. I personally got a lot of compliments just from the top guys in town.
Yeah, we had a good write-up. My friend Clint Holmes also did a write-up for that show for me, which thank you, Clint. And it was beautiful. So,
But I think it was a breath of fresh air, Frank. And to me, I feel like there's several demographics here that are open for new things. I think it's possible to do it here. I think the infrastructure may be a little challenging.
I think it's just a matter of just changing the guard necessarily and having them understand and us building the people, because there's many fragmented people that are not being represented with their music. Absolutely. And if you have a viable thing, they will come, because we've seen people at the Orleans and they have those R&B shows, those 90s shows, and they pack those places. And I know we had similar, because that's how we met, is playing in a band together, and we have similar mentalities of that. So, but yeah, your point is very well made, and hopefully that will go, especially with people with the kind of resume that you have and what you've been building so far. So, I want to once again thank this lovely lady, and of course her better half, right, Mr. David Siegel, right? Now, coming up, we're going to have them play both of their original songs. So come on through, hang out with us. My name's Kevon Tyrree. We're glad you guys come out, hang out with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.